Okay guys, I'm about to take a quick lip gloss break. I am using the Dior lip oil. So we're gonna get into a technique that I like to call underpainting, or a technique that they call underpainting, and it is basically doing everything in reverse. Anyway, just follow me. So we're gonna start with the Fenty Beauty Matchstick in the shade Espresso, and I'm just gonna start contouring my face. So I'm gonna look into the mirror right here. So the tiny mirror I use for more detailed work, and the bigger mirror I like to use to see the whole picture, the whole face, to see if everything is balanced or not. Make sense? And then I'm gonna also contour underneath here, because your girl has gained a couple pounds, and while I am going to the gym, we're not gonna act like we can't do anything about it. I mean, that's literally the whole point, right? So I'm using my Chanel Contour 109 brush.
That is the great thing about makeup. You can hide what you want. You can accentuate what you want. You can literally change pretty much anything you want about yourself at this moment in time. And that is a nice thing. I'm not sure if other times have had the luxury and the access. We have access to so much information. Like, so many people are self-taught. Okay, so I contoured around my hairline. I'm probably gonna use a little bit more. Some people say that when you do underpainting, you don't have to blend it out perfectly, but I like to, because I feel like it builds a firm foundation for the following steps. Now, depending on how strong you want your contour is how much you're going to put on. So for an everyday look, you're probably not gonna wanna pile on the contour, but that is your preference. However, for myself, this side is darker than this side, so I'm gonna add a little bit more. Check, see, now this detail, I need a tiny mirror to check. Oh yeah, it's definitely darker. Nice. So this step I'm really excited about, like very much so excited about it that I got a new blush. Or maybe I'm excited about this step because I got a new blush. Honestly, that's probably the correct one. So I'm using the Patrick Ta Blush Duo in the shade She Goes to the Gym, which I feel like is so funny, especially since I'm dedicating myself to go into the gym more often. So this shade is a beautiful mauve color. Like, how stunning. I feel like I wanted something pinky, but a lot of the pink blushes that I've been using and that I have are like really like a bluish pink. This is more of a dust rose pink, which I think will just be so pretty on my skin. So I'm gonna start off with the blush, the cream part of it. As you can see, it's brand new. I've never touched it. And I'm gonna use a wet beauty blender for this part. So this beauty blender is clean. I'm going to use the other side, but before I do, I'm just gonna show you that it is in fact a clean beauty blender. I don't want you guys to think I'm out here using dirty tools, because never. Then I'm going to take the product and rub the beauty blender, the damp beauty blender all in it. I'm talking about in there. And then I'm going to just place the product wherever you like it. Oh my god, that is so pretty. Oh my god, I love how mellow that blush is. Like, I think that is so pretty. And I'm gonna add it to this side. This is so pigmented. How gorgeous. And I'm gonna kind of just bring it onto my cheeks a little bit. I'm gonna also put it on my nose too, because I've actually been loving how that kind of just encloses, especially like when it's well blended into the concealer. Ooh, it just looks so good.
This is definitely one of those things where you don't want to rush it. You kind of want to take your time. And I'm gonna also bring that blush into the contour as well, like all the way up here. Then I'm gonna take the Fenty Beauty We're Even Hydrating Longwear Concealer in the shade, oh my god, this one doesn't have a shade on it. I really like this concealer because I find I get the least amount of creasing with this concealer. And I was using the Hourglass, but it just, I love how, I don't, honestly, a little goes a long way, but I just feel like it's so thick. It's not as hydrating as this concealer. I think that's the main takeaway here. This concealer is so hydrating. So I'm just gonna go down my nose, the bridge of my nose. I'm also gonna make like sort of a fan on my forehead. I'm gonna just fan out. I'm gonna go on top of my lip, and then I'm also going to highlight the middle of my chin. So to get the best color payoff, you're gonna wanna take a fan and let your concealer dry down. I'd say for just 60 seconds. Doesn't take very long. And if you really wanna be saucy, you can do your eyebrows while your concealer is drying down. I have recently started to use the Made by Mitchell color case for my brows. And baby, let me tell you, the girls have been eating it up. They have been loving it. I always get compliments on my eyebrows because it gives the perfect texture for fluffy. And y'all, I don't know about y'all, but the way I used to do my eyebrows, I feel like y'all deserve a picture. I'm gonna insert a picture here. Exactly, completely out of pocket, right? Out of line. As you can see, she's been heavily used. I love this case, and I like to mix these two. The darker one is cooler and the lighter one is richer. So what I've been doing for a bolder look, I've been mixing the two. Yeah, I literally just double dip, so I'm gonna dip. Now, if you do this and you're working on a client, you're probably gonna wanna clean it up because you don't want the residue, but since this is my personal palette, I'm just gonna do as I please because it's just for me. This is a Hello Kitty brush that I got when I went to the Impressions Vanity showroom. So it doesn't have a number, but it was a Hello Kitty set of brushes that they had. Then I'm just gonna take the longer side, the higher side, and have that facing down. And what that does is when you flick your wrist, it kind of gives that whisk effect. So, and then I'm just gonna use hair-like strokes. And this is a step that you wanna do with an angle brush that's very, very thin, because with thicker angle brushes, it doesn't have that same effect. And you kind of just wanna go in the shape of your brow. And I'm just gonna fill in the blank hairs so that they look a lot fuller. And earlier I showed you how to brush your brows. So I'm not using a whole lot of product when I do this, and the closer I get to the front, the lighter my strokes are. Then I'm just gonna fill in the bottom just to create a softer arch, and then I'm just gonna create a tail. So usually I would round it out at the top, and that's for like more formal days, like if I have an event. But like for an everyday beat or just for like a work event, I don't mind my brows being a bit untamed. So just so you can see. Sometimes, guys, I don't even conceal the bottom, but just because it's a tutorial, I want you guys to know how to do it and know what products I use, just in case you want to start customizing your technique on the back end and making it work for you. You might want to try a less structured look, eyebrow look in your future, but for right now, let me just give you all the tools that you need so that, you know, you can do what you will with it. Honestly too, I love editorial looks. So something that I noticed with a more editorial brow look they sometimes don't conceal the brow, especially for girls who just have those fluffy brows in general. Those girls are so lucky. I'm honestly lucky that I have brows because I noticed that a lot of people don't have good brows. I did an African wedding yesterday, and this girl had some really good brows. They were so thick. They were so pretty. So here are my brows, period. Wow, I literally thought that I recorded me blending out my concealer and I didn't. Anyways, let me just mimic the motion so that you can see it. So, I basically took this concealer brush. This is the number 738 from P. Louise. And I literally just started from the outer corner and tapped it into the blush where the blush was, and then I worked my way into the outer corner. I usually start from the bottom and then I go into the inner corner. That's why I like this shape of the brush, like right here, because that fits perfectly into the nook of my eye. So I'll take it and then I'll just tap, 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 and then go underneath my eye, tap, 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 and then tap it up like so. And just follow the shape of my eye. And then you're gonna do the other side as well. This side actually could use a little more blending, so. And then you just take that into the hairline, which is a really good way of like kind of creating a contour, like if you're gonna do an eye look, which we're not doing an eye look. I don't wear an eye look every day. Yet, pending, because we are manifesting a life that requires me to do so. Hello. For foundation, I'm using NARS Natural Radiance Foundation in the shade Macao. This is actually the only foundation that I found that matches my undertone perfectly. So House Labs does have a similar one. However, it's a little too light for me. So you see my dilemma here. Now, if I mix those two together, we might have something, you know. Oh, also too, the House Labs is a little more on the sheer side, and I like a more full coverage even on an off day. So that's just another reason why I lean more toward using Macao from NARS. I mean, if it's not broke, don't fix it, right? So I'm just gonna take a couple pumps. I always usually use too much, but this time I'm not. And then I'm just going to kind of saturate the brush with it like that. And you see where the foundation is not, that is where I'm going to start at. And I'm just gonna start pressing it into my skin and get a little more product. And this is like the underpaint technique, and I'm in love, guys. I am in love with this technique. So right here, even though there isn't a blank space, I'm going to apply the foundation where the concealer and the contour kiss, because the foundation will diffuse that line. And there's less product on my brush because I put a majority of the product on my jawline. Now I'm gonna move on to my nose because there's even less product on the brush now. So I'm gonna just take whatever is left on there. It's very little, it's like literally nothing on here, but it's still enough that it'll help. So now I'm going to go over the contour and over the blush. You see how soft that looks? You see how soft and skin-like that looks? That is the look that we're trying to achieve. That is because of this technique. This is why I love this technique, okay? It literally gives so soft. So as you can see, the face is looking, the skin is skinning. It's starting to look a lot more like skin. There's less separation, but we want to make sure that we're getting that jawline where we contoured too, because there's nothing worse than looking back at your pictures and seeing that harsh line where the effort to hide your double chin is so obvious. You see how soft that line is now, but it's still contoured. So for a makeup look that you want to last all day, take a fixing spray. Today I'm gonna use the Krylon. And this is like industry quality fixing spray. So if you really wanna be that girl, get you some of this. And then you're just gonna spray your face. So to set the under eye, I've been using the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless setting powder, and this is in compact form, obviously, and they come in way bigger palettes than this, but this is a travel size. They are on the pricey side, and when I bought mine, I bought several. I actually have the number 2 and the number 3, so I have medium and then medium 2, and well, actually, is it medium 2? No, I have medium, number 2, which is medium, and then I have number 3, which is tan. Just to give you an idea, these are $30 a piece, around $30 a piece. And then I also bought 4 for my makeup kit for when I do clients makeup, and then I also bought 2 bronzers, which are almost $60 a piece. Yeah, they're $58 a piece. So your girl spent a lot of money trying to build her kit, so travel size it was because we needed to cover a lot of ground. You understand? So before we set the concealer under our eye, I'm just gonna go through and tap with the same concealer brush and make sure I get any creasing from up under my eye. Which, look at this makeup has been sitting, I'm not gonna lie, for at least 15 minutes, and I have no creasing and I'm not set. So that should just tell you how good the concealer and my technique is, okay? So to set the under eye, you're gonna wanna get a powder puff, and I like to squeeze it in half like this so I can really get those creases. And then I'm just gonna swirl my powder puff into the product. Then take it and diffuse it just a bit. And then I'm going to look up and start wherever I have creasing concerns first. And then I'm going to go everywhere else that I pulled that concealer into. And look how flawless that is. So this side is not set and this side is. Doesn't that look like skin? Not over drying. And then we're also gonna pull up that concealer to the side of our nose right here. So I'm just gonna do the same thing for the other side. Oh, see, I got a little bit of creasing. You guys see that? And then I'm gonna, before I set that, I'm gonna just, so you see. So I'm just gonna really press that in, because that should do not get creasing. I'm just gonna take a little bit more product and go down the bridge of my nose. And then I'm gonna set my forehead as well. So cute already. Sheesh. She's looking good already. If I was going for a more dewy look, I would stop at this part, right? But I like to be matte, especially if I know I'm gonna be wearing my makeup look all day, because then that way I have time to sweat and my skin has time to really settle into the makeup. For setting powder, I'm using the One Size translucent powder in the shade Dark Deep. So typically I like to tap and put some of the powder inside the lid and then dump it back on this side, and I'll show you why. So I'm gonna take a P. Louise 796. So I'm gonna dip my P. Louise 796 into the pot. And I'm just gonna just kind of like swirl it. And then since this side is empty, I'm gonna tap this part out. And just kind of tap out. So it's evenly dispersed. Do you see that? And then I'm just gonna pat the powder into my skin. Oh, look at that blush. That is so pretty. Oh, I'm so glad that I got that blush. Because in person, it didn't look as pink. Do the same thing for this side. The forehead, around the lips. Even set that contour underneath your jaw. Boom, look how flawless my skin looks. You can still see the blush, even though it's very faint, it's very light. So now to set the contour, I'm gonna use the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Bronzer. And I'm just gonna take my Chanel contour brush, the same one, and just take a couple pats and just press that contour into the skin. I really like this bronzer because it's not too dark and it's buildable. This is the shade Tan, which is 3, which I thought I was gonna need the deep one, but the deep one is a little too deep. Also getting underneath that chin. Getting into the hairline. So to sharpen up our contour if it gets a little muddy, and even just in general, just to maintain a really snatched shape, I'm gonna go back into the setting powder and use the same puff and just clean it up. And to contour the nose, if that's a step that you like, I'm gonna use this P. Louise 214. So you see, it's not quite an angle brush, but it's not super thick either. And we're just gonna draw a line wherever we want that contour to come in at. So I'm gonna start right here and just go down the bone of my nose. And then you can just kind of like reverse it to diffuse the top where it ends and begins. Ooh, child, my nose is crooked. Look at that. I made a crooked nose. Hold on, let me fix that. And then I'm just gonna go around the nostrils. So next is my favorite part, back to the blush. We're gonna set the blush. For the blush, I'm using the Sephora 5'9", and I'm just gonna tap that blush into, oh my God, it's giving exactly the look that I wanted to give. You see how soft that is? Like where you can see the color, but it's very, very soft. And then I'm just gonna go back in. I just tapped the brush into it twice. And I'm just gonna really add more on the side and allow it just to be pretty diffused the closer in I come. So I want this to look really soft. And I'm just gonna take the residual and go up into my hairline. Oh, stunning. Let's see if we can add a little bit more of that pigment to it. Oh my God, I love this mauve color. So pretty. This is exactly what I wanted. This is literally exactly what I wanted and what I saw and why I got this. This is my new favorite blush. I finally found a blush that feels like home. And I'm also gonna add some to my nose. Y'all, this is my new favorite blush. Like, I feel like this complements my skin so well. And for the last step, I'm using the Sephora Micro Smooth in the shade 35 Bronze. This is a like mineral, almost like a mineral setting powder, compact setting powder, but I just like to use it as the last step to like really just blend everything together. So now that everything is where it's supposed to be, I'm just gonna take the same brush that I used to set the rest of my face, and I'm just kind of gonna smush it, and then I'm just gonna dust the face. And you see the difference? Look at this side. And then look at this side. And it really just kind of melts everything together. Now, if you want, as an additional step, you can definitely, oh, and also too, it diffuses the contour area. So there's that. So pretty. And do the other side. I think I am gonna add more blush. I am gonna add more blush because I want to be a blush. Oh my God, look how gorgeous that is. Wow, I just cannot get over how gorgeous that is. It's so pretty. The next step is to add eyeliner and do lashes. I'm gonna do my eyeliner on camera, but I'm not going to do my lashes on camera. And yeah, so let's get into this waterline. And depending on what look we're going for or what the look is, I will do a dark brown liner. But for my everyday look, I pretty much, I don't know why I picked up that camera, like I was about to really see through that. But I usually do a black liner and I just do a really soft line, just something that looks like that. I'm gonna take my contour and the same contour brush that I used to contour my cheeks, my hairline, and my chin, oh, also my nose. And then I'm just going to use that same brush and diffuse that line. Now, I do not recommend this step if you wear contacts, because sometimes the dust will get in your eye. So you see it's nice and light, and then we're just gonna add some mascara. This is the Milk Cosmetics Kush Mascara. Okay, now lips. So for lips, I'm gonna use Fenty Beauty. Look how cute this is. It has Bad Gal Riri on it. And then I'm gonna use the Traced Out Lip Liner. I really like this one because it's definitely smudge proof. And I'm using the Lock Gloss Balm in the shade Grape Splash. So actually I'm gonna use the pencil, the Traced Out in the color Browned Out, because the, what was that? Extra Thigh was a little too light for me. And I'm gonna kind of just drag it so it's diffused, and then pop this lip gloss on top. And I think it just goes really well with my lip gloss. I mean, with the blush. Also too, guys, I forgot to conceal the underneath the brow. So I'm actually using the Made by Mitchell brush that comes with the color case. And I'm just going to use this color because this one is most close to my shade, and I'm gonna use this one. And then I'm going to trace the tail, just the tail. So I would say 3/4, because the whole front, I'm not going to trace. Then I'm gonna grab the Fenty brush in the 200 model, and then I'm just going to diffuse that product that I just put there. And I'm doing a shade really close to my brow, to my actual skin color, so that it looks really natural. I love for it to be defined, but to still look really natural and not like carved out. For highlight, I'm using the Chanel Illuminating Powder. I'm not gonna pretend that I even know how to pronounce that. I'll put the name in the description. And I'm taking a P. Louise 745 brush. And then I'm just going to tap that on. So you see those blue glitters? Those are the same glitters that I have in my lips. That's why I chose this highlight. But yeah, it's really pretty. It's really etheric. It's really rare. You're not gonna see too many people have it. Actually, I've never seen anyone with it. But when I went to, what was it? Was it Saks? Yeah, it was Saks on 5th Ave in New York. And they have a Chanel beauty store. And I just fell in love. I just thought it was so pretty. Like blue, like a blue highlight. Come on, you know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna pop on my lashes and I'll be right back. Okay, so now to set the face, I'm going to use Morphe, the Morphe Continuous Setting Spray. And I really like this setting spray because it's a fine mist, and you see how it just melts everything together, and it smells so good. It feels so good. It's very, very refreshing. And then I'm gonna follow up with the Krylon. So now the longer you want your makeup to last, the more Krylon you're gonna use, but I'm actually about to go to bed. I literally just did my makeup just so I can show you guys my technique. I really wanted to take my time and explain the steps. I wanted to show you guys the technique and explain the steps. So I didn't want to do this while I had somewhere to go because then I would be in a rush. It seems like I'm always in a rush these days. So anyway, that is the makeup look. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys learned something from this video. If you did, please don't hesitate to subscribe and like this video. Share it with a friend. Literally hit that notification bells. All the things, all the things. But yeah, that's literally the everyday glam tutorial. And yeah, it gives full beat, but it also gives super effortless. So that's what we love, right? Tell me in the comments if you try any of these products, if you add them to your kit, if you fall in love with them like I have. I mean, these Charlotte Tilbury setting powders, I just feel like have changed my makeup game tremendously, like literally tremendously. Anyhow, I love you guys. See you on the next one.